What's it worth? What's it worth to you to being disrespected or feeling that you are just not enough? That there's no room for you? The way you express yourself is something that offends other people. The way you want to have your life designed to your needs and to your visions. Don't you feel that there's room for that? Or what's it worth? So, when I say what's it worth, it can relate to the financial side of things. It can also be the value that it holds to you, and the value has got nothing to do with money. The value is how much weight does this, whatever it is you want to do with your life, how does that weigh? So if you, for instance, want a nice, slow morning routine where you can wake up when you feel like it, you exercise, you do some of the healthy things that you want to do, you meditate, and then you start your work day. That's a morning routine that I prefer for me, and I value that a lot. So there is nothing that can come in between that routine because I start my day on a very set intention. When we say that, and this is not something that I just woke up and did, but I started to be aware of what my life was like. I think many of the stories that we tell ourselves is I am super busy and how there's not enough time in a day, and how that FOMO expression, fear of missing out, that means if you are afraid that you are missing out of everything, instead of saying I would love to go to your event but I am engaged somewhere else, so you better say no and then connect and commit to the event that you did say yes to. If you think that you can split yourself, so you do a few hours here and then we're gonna go there, and then if we just like kind of pressure it, or maybe just do an hour and a half, we can make it to the next event. What you do is you don't connect on any of the events. You don't connect with yourself, but you don't connect with the people. And also you send a statement out into the world that you are not in a position where you know what is important to you, which means you don't prioritize to connect with good friends, good relationships in an event because you are always too busy and everybody wants a piece of you, and that's why you have to cut yourself in half every day to make things happen, where in fact you don't know what's important to you. You don't know what is valuable to you. You don't know how to connect into relationships and connect to yourself, get peace and quiet, where in fact you are never connecting to yourself. Maybe you can say, but I do love being super busy and I can do this, where in fact that's also ego. You want to do something for everybody else so that they can validate that you are a good person, where in fact you are maybe right now in a position where you feel overwhelmed. When you're feeling overwhelmed, you feel stressed. And I say words like, do you meditate? And you'd be like, no, I fall asleep. And that could be my story, because let's go back, rewind 11 years from now. And I was super busy. I was in a car that crashed and we came out of that alive. So that was a good wake-up call, but it was a gift. I choose to see it like that because life is for me and not against me. Would you have said to me, do you meditate? I would have said no because I fall asleep. And I've tried meditating throughout the years and always felt super tired and then just fall asleep. And if this is you now, I can tell you that if you fall asleep when you're trying to meditate, that's a sign that you are running around and you are way too busy at the moment. So if you fall asleep when you go to do something that is supposed to make you more healthy and spiritual and relaxed, if you in fact fall asleep, well, that's your sign you need to do that more. If we don't have 10 minutes a day to sit down, breathe intentionally, if we don't have 10 minutes a day to go for a walk, we don't have a lot. So running around, trying to make it to 3 different events where you don't connect to anybody and the people will just observe you thinking, okay, so she doesn't know what's important to her. She's not in a position where she can prioritize. That's what I see when I see that. And that used to be me. I wanted to do everything so that everybody felt seen and heard. And where in fact, it was me that kind of needed to see myself and hear myself. And when I understood this, because when I had that gift, I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't keep up the pace. I also had a store. I had 4 employees. All the time there was something to do. I had horses. My daughter was young. I had a dog. There was a lot of things to look at and I loved it. And I could do that up until this car crash. And then I just couldn't do it anymore. So for me to be aware that, okay, instead of thinking that you are doing in the external world something to make other people feel seen and heard, point that inward. Maybe you need to feel seen and you need to be heard. When we stop reacting to everything in the external world, stop feeling overwhelmed by invitations. That's nice that you get invited, isn't it? So when we get invited to a lot of events, sit with it. Which event is going to be the one that you will join? Because if they're all on the same day or the same week, and you know what's important to you, what are your values throughout the week? Is that the morning routine? Is that the diet? Is that the workout, the exercise, the sun, the walking, the work? What is important throughout the week? If you want to press and pressure in 3 events and you know that, well, it's just not going to work because I'm going to be too tired. And when I'm too tired, that affects how I do my everyday life. So is it important that I join this? So that is going to cost me too much on my values. I'm just going to take 1 out of 3 events so that I know that I can get my rest and I can get my exercise and I can spend time with the friends that I enjoy. Also, where you put your priorities or where your values is totally up to you. And to connect more to that, you can take out a pen and paper and you can write down pro and con list. What are the things that really light you up? On the plus side of your list, what is something that makes you smile, makes you want to go, oh, I want to do more of that? Is that a walk in nature? Is that something that lights you up? Is that coffee with friends? What lights you up? Write that down on that list. No limits, no limits. And then on the downside, what is it that takes your energy? What drains you? Is that the chaos in that friend group? Is that the drama with that person? Is that continuously having trouble with your horse in your riding and your horse training? Is that the chaos? What brings you up? What lights you up? And what sucks out the energy? When you make that list, and I know that you probably already are going through it in your head, it's very important that you write it down, because when you see it in real life, you can see, really? Was that something that was on the downside and this is on the plus side and stuff like that? So to make it an exercise where you are conscious, pen and paper is the tool for that. What's it worth to you to have a life that is more balanced? And I know that balanced is, maybe harmonious can be a better word, but when you say balance is very hard to obtain and it takes a lot of focus and a lot of structure. So maybe it's not balance. You need, maybe it's more harmonious. When do you connect the most? And when you start to look at it like that, it's going to be easier for you to prioritize and get it right. More right and more right for you. Because what is right for me might not be right for you. And what is right for you might not be it for me. So just know that you are worth and you are worthy of the life that you want. You are also the creator. When you put your power in the external world and make it about your boss or your coworker or some girls at the barn or the horse or your kids or your spouse or the car, no matter what stories you tell yourself, you chose that. And you can say, did I choose a coworker? No, you might not have chosen her. But if you were sat there at that job, it's still your responsibility for your own peace and quiet to figure out, so if this is sucking me dry every day, something needs to change. If you don't change anything or do anything about it, you're choosing it. So what you're not changing, you're choosing. And that's important to know, that if you are one of those who keeps nagging, and I think maybe it's just a habit. Okay, maybe it's a habit, you do that. But be aware that if you are constantly nagging, you are infusing bad energy into your life. So what about seeing what is there and knowing that what you are not changing, you are choosing? That is also something that you can write down and then work with it. And number one for all spiritual development is the consciousness. When you are conscious, when you are creating awareness around your life, okay, so what is it that I do? And maybe you are nagging, maybe you are a gossip girl, but if you are that and you don't want to be that, it starts with being aware. Maybe you are in a group of friends where you all do that. So it's just a bad habit. That is what brings you together. Just know that if you gossip with others, they do that when you walk away. And when people gossip behind each other's backs, it's a way of bringing them closer together, because be aware of the bad habits. Okay, is that really something that is connecting? Is that the type of friends I want? Is that loyalty for me? Is that balanced for me? Is that harmonious for me? Is that spacious for me? Is that a friend that I can feel safe with? If you're constantly worrying about what you can say to a friend, is that really a friend? Or is it somebody that you think you need to connect to because they look like they're successful? Maybe you want to join them and then you just kind of do the same behavior. Is that it? Be conscious, be aware. What is it you do? And know that what you're not changing, you are choosing. When you are weighing out what it's worth to you, just know that nobody else can tell you what something is worth, because your values are not the same as materialistic stuff that you want. Ego is more on the materialistic stuff. And of course you can have it. You do not have to be happy and poor. You can for sure be super happy and super rich, okay? But be aware of, are you wanting things out of lack? Because you need it, because you want it, because you don't have it? That's a state of lack. That's the vibration of lack. Or is it something that aligns with your values? Because then it has a whole nother frequency, you see. When you know what frequency you are vibrating and why is it you want to win the lottery? Is it to make it easier for you? Because would you change if you had a whole lot of money? Would you change friends? What would you do? Have you done that exercise? So if you win the lottery, what would you do? Would you still make the same choices? 800 millions? You will be a different person. What is the person? The values, the vibration, the energy, the stuff. What vibration does that have? And if you want to elevate that through growth and to being better than yourself the day before, that's a mantra I run all the time, is okay, so I can be just that 1% better than yesterday. It's progress when the year went and there's 365 days and I'm just 1% better each day. Well, that's a lot of percentages, isn't it? Just know that when you feel something is in the tough zone, or you are thinking, is it worth it? Is it worth the drama? Is it worth the effort? Just know that you are in that zone where most people quit. And most people quit when it gets too hard and when they run out of consistency. Being consistent is some of the hardest thing to do because you will eventually run into a place where you have to decide something again. If you are exercising every day, you will feel the benefits after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 months, 4 months. You will feel the benefits of the exercise. And if you want to then tune it up a notch and you keep on evolving, it takes up more of your time because the miles are getting longer. I experienced that. So you also spend more time on it, but it's really beneficial. You get more energy, you get more fit, you get more healthy, but it takes up more time. You need to know that that time that you're spending that is fueling you with that much energy, you cut out something else. Back to the list. What's on the downside on that list? Well, carve out one so that you have time for something that fuels the energy. I hope that makes sense. And of course, it's easier said in a podcast episode than it is doing it. But for sure, when you know what fuels you up and you carve out time to do that even more, well, you are going to feel more energized. You're going to feel more healthy and wealthy, and you're going to have a better vibration. And also the worthiness. What is it worth to you? What are you worth to you? Yeah. What are you worth? Is somebody else's happiness your spouse's or your kids or your animals perhaps? Are they more important? You have to put everybody else first so that you can feel worthy? Is that it? That's not sustainable. Put yourself first. If we're making a priority list, let's say we are having 4 priorities, who should you prioritize as number 1? That should always be yourself. You should always be your number 1 choice. If you are living by the plus size of the list, you know, the up list, the good energy, the good vibration, things that fuels you, brings you more happiness and laughs in your life. If you are living by that upside every day, that is when you pick yourself as number 1. If you are discarding yourself because you're not worthy, you don't have the time, somebody else needs to do this, and you have this responsibility and that responsibility, and you wish that you can sit down and you can do all the stuff that, you know, fueled you, but you just can't because you need to go, that's the story you tell yourself. When you keep telling yourself this story, it's not going to change. You chose this. So therefore, it will not change. Know that when you prioritize and pick yourself at that number one spot, you know what? The flight attendants say that as well. If something happens, you will see the oxygen mask coming down here, 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 and then you place the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help your child or the passenger next to you. There's a reason for that, and it's more than just plain safety. It's your safety. Choose, prioritize yourself first. Fill yourself up and then go into the world. Also, when you do this, it affects other people. If you live by the plus or the minus side of your list, it will affect other people. It will affect your work, your marriage, your relationship to friends, your kids, your animals. Everything in your life will be affected, no matter if you choose the minus or the plus side of your list. If you want to set the good example for your kids, know that if you are a female and you have a daughter, they don't do what you say, they do what you do. If you want to teach your daughter good skills in the world and how to be and how to value herself, do you want your daughter to call in sick with stress in the age of 28? Do you want her to feel overwhelmed every day at work because she has a bad coworker? Do you want her to feel that she is supposed to join every single event every week so that everybody else can be happy and then she'll be totally drained? Is that what you want to teach your kid? Is it? Because you should keep going. Because she will not do what you say. She will do what she sees that you're doing. If you are living on the minus side, if you keep running, if you keep telling yourself that if you run a little faster, somebody will appreciate you more. Somebody will see how important you are to them. And therefore they will love you, right? Well, your daughter will do the same. Stand strong in yourself. Try to live more on the plus side. And be super aware that your daughter do not do what you say, she will do what you do. So that is the number one point to most things, really, if you have kids, is they will do what you do. If you can't do it for yourself, or it's difficult when you want to do it for you, be aware that it affects others. If you don't have kids, you have a partner, well, it will affect the partner. Sometimes when you, well, often, not sometimes, often, when you are starting to choose something new, you start to change. And change is not very difficult for you, perhaps, but it's difficult for your surroundings, which means that often we are spring cleaning, my friend. When you start to spring clean, you will find yourself in a relationship that you actually are just finding out this is not beneficial for me anymore. This is actually on the downside of my list. And maybe you have friends and you are becoming aware that what you do around these friends is bad habits, it's bad energy. Why would you gossip? Why would you spend your time doing that? It's not fueling you, it's doing the opposite. Oh, and by the way, they do that to you when you're not there. Is that a group of good friends? No. Okay, so you're changing friends. And when you are in a lot of change and you are really sorting out your life, just know that you are in between the old and the new. And that can feel scary. That can also feel exciting. Mostly when I change, and I do that all the time, always to be better, and you are in that vacuum between the old and the new, I get so excited. It can almost feel like butterflies in the stomach. I get super excited, but for some, many maybe, it feels scary. And that can cause you to think, oh, let's just go back because I don't want to be alone. Just remember, you are in between the old and the new. When we are creating space, we carve out space in our life to do better or new things. It can take a few weeks or a month for that new to enter your life, because you are the creator, my friend. You are the creator of your life. So when that comes in to your life, it needs to have room. And leads me back to the start, where you have no room, you are overwhelmed, you're stressed, you are anxious, you're not healthy, you don't feel energized. So you're just running and running and running in circles and telling yourself the same story. They're the ones who tell themselves that this is what I like. I can't sit still. I have too much energy. Good. But it's never one or the other. So for getting the harmonious in to your life, if you are always in overdrive, you don't have the other. But of course, if you are also always here and never in the up energy, that's also not balanced. But it all comes down to being conscious and awareness. Being aware of, where am I right now in my life? Okay, where did I come from? Good. I improved something. Where do I want to go? Okay, there's room to go still. What can I do today to be more that person that I want to be out into the future? And that all boils down to that concept of your thoughts are creating your feelings, and your feelings are creating your reality. Maybe you've heard motivational leaders and mindset leaders saying this, that what you think and what you feel is what is creating your energy, in good or bad. So that will higher or lower the frequency. What you surround yourself with is for sure not something to be taken lightly. I also have a saying where I say, I will rather sit alone than sit in bad company. I did that for a while when I was changing my old life, because that life is not for me anymore and I wanted to be better. I always strive to get healthier and also to get more energy. I want more energy in. So how can I do that even better? I hope that this inspired you. I want to thank you so much for being here at the Being Connected podcast. Stay connected, stay curious, and stay focused on what matters to you.